and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. I'm here filling in for Miss Sandy Benson today. And joining me, I have Miss Natalie Hefter here, and she is with Carolina Cups. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. So I know you guys have a big event coming up with Carolina Cups, but first, I would love for you to tell us what this organization is all about. Tell us about Carolina Cups.
Carolina Cups is an organization that helps to put on a couple of events each year to raise funds for breast cancer research and services for people that can't afford it. And so what we do is we raise funds and we distribute it to local organizations and other hospitals and things to help raise funds for breast cancer research.
Well, that sounds like a great organization. So you guys are really helping out the breast cancer research fund and getting those funds distributed to the right people.
That's right. That's right. And we're so happy to have local people involved on our board that have really been working hard. We do a pub crawl each year, and so this is a new event for us, the Locomotion.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is to get people active, get out and enjoy the beautiful low country weather.
Great.
We're doing a 3-day event on this fall.
And the name of the event is The Locomotion.
Yes, and our website is dothelocomotion.org, so you can find out all the details and schedule of events.
Okay, so tell us about the Locomotion event. Is this the first year you guys have done this?
This is, and it's an ambitious first-year project.
Okay.
We have a 3-day event where you're walking or running 10 miles each day.
Wow,
and
okay.
so the first of the days, Friday, September 30th, will be starting from the Westin Resort in Islanders Beach Park area.
Okay.
And the second day will be in downtown Bluffton.
Great.
We'll be starting and finishing at the Promenade. And the
Wonderful.
third day, we're actually going to go back to the beach here on Hilton Head and leave from the Holiday Inn, walk all the way down to South Beach, and then back.
Goodness, so 3 days, 10 miles a day, you're starting in Hilton Head, coming to Bluffton, and then back to Hilton Head. So this sounds like an awesome event. Do your participants take part in all 3 days, or some people do one day, some people do another day? How does that work?
The best part about this event is that you can come and do as little or as much as you'd like. You can register for 1 day, and we have 1-day prices or 2-day, or you can register for the 3-day event. But the nice thing about our route is that most of the time you can actually opt out. If you are feeling like, gosh, I can't handle 10 miles, but maybe 5, there are places along the route that you can get back to your vehicle and get back home.
Okay, well that sounds great. So there are options to do a little bit less. Now, tell me, if I do want to participate in the event, either one of the days or all 3 days, do I need to train? What kind of physical shape do I need to be at this event?
The nice thing is that it is a walk or a run. So if you're one of those people that's out running every day, you can probably do the 10 miles. We have training set up through the Hilton Head Hospital, Beaufort Memorial Hospital. Beaufort Memorial is one of our biggest sponsors and cheerleaders that's helping us put on the event.
And they're doing some training,
And they're
too.
doing training, and the Palmetto Running Club out in Bluffton is doing training.
Wonderful.
So if you visit our website, the training schedule is there, and you can join in one of the planned groups or see what you need to do on your own to plan for this last sort of 5 weeks before the event.
Okay, wonderful. And your website is dothelocomotion.org, is that correct?
That is correct.
So we can come on and find out some more information about the event. And if we're not able to participate by doing the run walk, is there any other way we can get involved?
Oh, absolutely. We are looking for volunteers to help us before the event with getting our race packets together and maybe some of the setup of the route.
Okay.
And then we have some aid stations that we'll be doing, and even just cheering stations. There will be a couple of designated cheering areas where we hope that we'll have breast cancer survivors, family members cheering on their family. So really there's a lot of ways to get involved that way.
So we can come out and participate, we can do 1 day, we can do all 3 days, or we can be a part of the volunteer group, and then even further, we can just come out and support.
That's right, that's right. And there are several organizations that have events that are raising funds for us. So even off-site, they won't even be there, but they'd like to contribute something too.
Okay, great. And all of those ways to be a part of this event, we can go to your website even as a volunteer or as a youth group that might want to come on and help out for this great cause. All through the website, we can get in touch with you.
There's a sponsorship page and there's a volunteer page, and we'll be in touch with you about where we need help.
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, are there any business sponsorship opportunities in addition to volunteering and being a part of this?
There are. As I said, Beaufort Memorial is one of our biggest sponsors. We've had help in getting some media placements around the Low Country and in Georgia, which is great. And we have several host hotels. Of course, the Westin, Holiday Inn are taking some of the brunt with being a host for the event as well. But we also have aid station sponsors, so we have packages starting from $500 on up to several thousand that local businesses can sign on to. We're also hoping that some of the businesses along the various routes may decide just to put out their own little special cookies or cakes or something along the way and join in the fun.
Great. So tell me, about how many people do you expect to come on out and participate in this event? How many people have you had in the past, and what is it going to look like?
You know, we've always had a good turnout for our pub crawls. This is something totally different for us. But I would expect, as this is our first year, you know, if we had several hundred people participating, we'd be very happy. Of course, the more the merrier, and the more that we have to come out and join us, the more funds we can pass along to those worthy organizations that need it.
Well, it sounds like a really great cause. It sounds like a wonderful event. Not only do we get to help out the breast cancer research, but we also get to really get out and see a lot of the island, a lot of Bluffton. So sounds wonderful. I look forward to it. I know I'm going to come check you guys out. So Natalie Hefter, thank you so much for being here today on Talk of the Town. And thank you. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and joining me is Mr. Stanley Gruber of the Gruber CSA Farm. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today and telling us about the Stanley Gruber Farm. First of all, let our viewers know all about us, all about you, and what you have going on.
Well, we're from St. George, about an hour and a half up 95 up here, and this is about the CSA farm, which means community-sponsored agriculture.
Okay.
And basically, this thing started in California, and I think it's going up north, and now it's hitting South Carolina. And the agriculture department is pushing it very hard. There's a growing demand now for locally grown produce rather than things shipped from Mexico or wherever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's also a kick now toward eating healthy and the benefits that come from eating fruits and vegetables and that type of stuff versus some of the other eating habits that people have. And I started this program last year, which means CSA means community-sponsored agriculture, and it's just a way of hooking a farmer like me that's growing produce up with a consumer.
Okay.
And the advantages of it are that it allows first thing, it gets me money up front.
Sure.
So that I have operating money, because this is a terribly expensive operation.
So you have your farm out in St. George, and what you're doing is you're basically supporting the community by getting your goods out to this community-supported agriculture, and that's how we as consumers get in touch with what you're doing out there.
That's right. The advantages are freshness. You know, we pick it one day, deliver it the next. That's about as fresh as you can get it without
absolutely.
growing.
That sounds like a quick turnaround to be harvested one day, delivered the next.
Yeah, we harvest it, wash it, package it, and then we put it straight on refrigeration, and then it comes straight off of that refrigeration the next morning.
And what's the advantage of having that real fast turnaround, and what's a typical turnaround on the harvesting to delivery phase? Because one day, like I said, seems like a really fast turnaround. So what's the advantage there?
Well, it is. I mean, if you think about something coming from Mexico and then coming into a warehouse or a food chain, you know, you could be talking about a week before it ever gets into a warehouse.
Right.
Then it has to come out of the warehouse and go to a store and then go to the consumer. So, you know, consumers are getting these items on the same time frame that a food chain would be getting it from me. So it's as fresh as you can get it without growing it yourself.
So this is really a benefit to your customers that they're able to get this real fresh produce, these goods at such a quick turnaround rate, and they're also able to support their local community and their local farm.
And that's right, to try to keep a farmer like me in business.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about what you do at the Gruber Family Farm. How does that go hand in hand? Obviously, there's a lot of health benefits with buying local and locally grown. Tell me about a wellness and fitness program, or how that might go hand in hand as a whole lifestyle.
A lot of companies now are pushing, they have wellness programs, which means that they, you know, a healthy employee is better than a sick employee and somebody that's out with illnesses. And they're finding out that eating fruits and vegetables are very good for you, you know, diabetes, it lowers that rate.
Absolutely.
Blood pressure. I met with some oncologists that talked about the benefits, and especially with colon cancer, eating vegetables versus red meats and that kind of stuff, or at least getting vegetables into your diet, and it's good. And we working with wellness programs in hospitals with, you know, like Nuco and Sunoco and big places like that are doing this as a benefit for the employees. And some of them are doing, you know, payroll deductions, you know, so that kind of thing. So that works out real good.
So you've really managed to partner with some other organizations to not only provide the health benefits that you're providing with your products, but also you're providing some additional possibly discounts for consumers and employees, and some great programs. That's
true. And I'll tell you, one of the places that I started targeting this past winter was fitness centers. You know, Powerhouse Gym, we partner with them.
Tell me what you do for a Powerhouse Gym, because, you know, I see that you've got some posters and things up at Powerhouse. What do you guys do? What's your partnership there?
Well, this actually started with East Shore Athletic Club in Charleston. They called me. I think they got 12 or 13 of them down there, and the lady told me that the personal trainers were complaining because they were doing all this work with people and they weren't seeing any benefits, so they weren't seeing them lose weight and that kind of stuff, and they thought it was because of their eating habits.
Sure.
So they got me in there and they started promoting the CSA in the gyms, and that's worked out very well for both of us.
Well, that's wonderful, and that's an important point, because, you know, it's really about an entire healthy lifestyle, and you really can't have one without the other, and that's where you really come in by providing us with that locally grown, really healthy food that is going to be in addition to any fitness program. And that partnership is really wonderful to get people to start eating healthy on top of their fitness program. So that's great.
And also what this thing does, you know, we put recipes in for different things, because you may get something in the box that you don't know what it is.
Sure.
Or something that you haven't eaten in a long time. We give you different recipes and you can go in there and cook them, and a lot of people are finding that something they didn't like 20 years ago, because they had already purchased it and that was part of the box, that they tried it and now they like it.
They're learning how to prepare it, maybe
That's
to their
right.
likings.
And a lot of, you know, there's a lot of different ways of preparing things now than there was, you know, 10 years ago or whatever.
Well, that's great. I definitely need your recipe tips, and I'll have to check out your website. So that's where we can find you, right? We can go to grubercsafarm.com and we can find you there. Tell us what's on your website.
The website tells you where we deliver to, what days we deliver to.
Okay.
It gives you an idea of availability of some of the crops that we grow and some of the fruits and vegetables that'll be in the boxes. It tells you how to sign up. You know, you can either mail us a check. If you do that, then you need to put your drop site and email address so that we can get in touch with you and know where we drop in your box. Let me mention too, if you will, the drop sites on Hilton Head and Bluffton. J Banks, which is right by the Nissan dealership right there,
right
on the island. Green Thumb Garden Center is a drop site for us. Powerhouse Gym
Okay.
is a drop site, and Matthews Marine right
And
by
Matthews
Suns,
Marine.
right at 170.
Okay.
Sun City there.
And if we haven't taken this down, we can find this information on your website.
You can find that information on the website.
Great. Gruber, CSAfarm.com.
That's
Stanley
it.
Gruber, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about the Stanley Gruber Farm and the Gruber family farm. And you're here on Talk of the Town. You're here on Talk of the Town, and we'll be right back with more. Hi, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and joining me here is Todd Ferguson. Todd, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Todd is with Beaufort County Emergency Management. So, Todd, would you tell us a little bit about what you guys do there?
Sure, and thank you for having me. Emergency management, we're tasked with the responsibility of mitigation, preparation, response, or recovery to either a man-made or a natural disaster. And what that all means is preparing the county for any type of hazard that may come, whether it's man-made or natural.
Okay, wonderful. So you guys are really here to be as our protection to help us out with any kind of event that might be unforeseen that we might need to either plan for up front,
Yes.
or you know, should it be unplanned, and then we might need to be taking some precautionary procedures on the back end. You guys can help us out with that.
Correct. We have a multitude of plans, but they're all hazard plans.
Okay.
So they fit for different type of events, either man-made or natural. It would be if we had a tornado, we use the same plans as if we're having a hurricane or if we have a chemical leak. So we do, and we plan all year long for those type of events.
Okay. So when we call that 911 number, we're really dealing with your organization and your pre-planning for those types of hazards and events.
Absolutely. One of our functions is E911 communications, which is your 911 dispatchers.
Okay. And you also deal with things such as traffic management, hazmat, and you mentioned some natural disasters. Obviously, this time of year, our major concern, you know, we're definitely thinking about hurricanes. It's on the forefront of our mind with everything that we've gone on here on the East Coast with weather. So talk to me a little bit about hurricane preparation and how you guys are a part of that planning.
Well, on the county level, we prepare all year long. Every year we start right after hurricane season, and we go ahead and look at all our plans. We go ahead and adjust the plans for whatever conditions, i.e. road construction and things like that, different evacuation routes. And then we go ahead and work on other issues concerning the hurricane program. And then we go on the speaking tour, March and April, and we go ahead, when we're invited, to go ahead and talk to folks about hurricanes and their preparation.
Okay.
Because I need their help.
Okay. And what can we do as viewers and as locals here, what can we do to really prepare for this kind of event? What kind of personal emergency planning do you recommend?
Well, obviously, if you're going to live on the coast, you need to have a personal emergency plan. And that being, you need to know where you're going to go if you're going to evacuate. You need to know the route and how to get there, and you should drive the route. You know, there's a lot of road construction going on within the state of South Carolina. And where you think you might be able to go and how you might get there, you may not because of that. But you want to make sure you have the necessities that would allow you to function outside of your environment, home environment, i.e. your mortgage papers, your insurance papers, your marriage licenses, your wills, important documents like that. But don't forget the prescriptions.
Sure.
Because if you have to relocate and you're going for a couple of months, you're going to need those prescriptions to get refilled. And you need to make sure that's available to you at all times, and a pet.
Absolutely.
You need to take your pet because it's your
Absolutely.
responsibility to get it out of the county as well as yourselves.
So we think about our pets and our families, getting them to safety, some of those necessities that we may, you know, forget as we're leaving in a hurry. Talk about the belongings that we leave behind. Tell us what we're supposed to do when we are evacuating, whether it be for a hurricane or for other reasons. What do we do with those belongings?
Well, and always remember that's what you got insurance for.
Absolutely.
So you should never err on the side of having to protect your belongings versus having to leave during a mandatory evacuation.
Sure.
That's what you've got insurance for. But certainly, if you live in a low-lying area, you might want to elevate some of your equipment off the ground. You know, electronics, put on your couch, chairs, tables, et cetera, et cetera, if you're going to have any kind of water penetration. But the bottom line is you can replace those things. You can't
Sure.
replace a human life.
Absolutely. So we need to prioritize
Absolutely.
and make sure we get ourselves to safety and worry about our belongings
Correct.
secondary.
Correct.
So obviously we're talking about hurricanes here. What are some other reasons that a person might need to evacuate their home, that families might need to leave the area? What else kinds of reasons would we have to leave?
Well, in an evacuation type scenario, we're talking a mass evacuation, but it doesn't have to be a hurricane. It can be a chemical leak.
Sure.
And I may have to evacuate a neighborhood.
Okay.
So if you got these kits and you got them ready to go, it doesn't matter if it's a hurricane, it doesn't matter if it's a chemical leak, it doesn't matter if maybe we have a law enforcement issue and I need to get you out of harm's way. You'll have the kit, you put it in your vehicle, we'll get you out of harm's way, and you'll be comfortable for wherever you go.
So even those who are not necessarily concerned about hurricanes when we're out of the season, it's important to still have that emergency kit and those plans in place because, as you mentioned, there's many other reasons that we might need to possibly vacate our homes.
Absolutely.
And when we're talking about evacuating as a group, as a public, I know we've heard a lot on the news these days about these voluntary evacuations versus mandatory evacuations as we are in the season here. Explain a little bit about the difference between that. What does that mean to people at home when they hear these two different terms?
Well, the big difference is during a voluntary, you can traverse the highways any way you want to. You get to go whatever route you want to choose. There's no barricades, there's no police officers telling you where to go. You're free to move about the way you would like today. Now, when we go into a mandatory, it's a whole lot different. You are actually forced into a corridor, and you and along with the 100 and something other thousand people just from South Carolina are going to make their way down the same corridor. So the evacuation routes are made to get you to safety, and they will do that. But I've got to tell you, they're not going to be, there's nothing about it that makes it convenient.
Okay.
Not at all.
Absolutely. So really recommend that voluntary evacuation.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to get started on your process before, we have everybody then getting out trying to take those same routes.
Absolutely. And we have a saying that the ones who get out first get the best hotel room.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you get
Yep.
ahead of the crowd and you move out quicker, what's the worst that could happen? The storm doesn't make landfall here. You spend 2 days in a beautiful hotel and then you come right back home.
So go ahead, get out on that voluntary evacuation, get yourself to safety. What can I expect when coming back to my home?
Well, first of all, we publish a 1-800-COME-HOME number.
Okay.
And the reason why we do that is if we do take a landfall on hurricane and we do have damage throughout the county, it's conceivable that portions of the county will be open, but some may not.
All right.
Well, before you drive 3 or 4 hours back to us, I want you to call that 1-800 number and we're going to post the status of the county on it.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, Ladies Island is not open because it's not safe yet. If you're a resident of Ladies Island, I don't want you driving back from North Augusta only to find out you can't go back home.
Absolutely.
So if you call ahead of time, you'll save yourself a lot of time and a lot of grief.
So we're going to call ahead of time, and then any additional information can we find on your website?
Absolutely. You can go to our website and look under emergency management and see our plans, brochures. We have the evacuation maps on there. Lots of useful information.
Okay, great. Well, Todd, thank you so much for coming on Talk of the Town today. This is Todd Ferguson with Beaufort County Emergency Management here on Talk of the Town. And thank you so much for watching Talk of the Town today. Have a great day. Join us next time.